Welcome to Algonquin Middle School. I'm Rob Messi, the building's current and fifth principal. Today we are excited to recognize Algonquin's 50th anniversary, and we're proud to have so many people here, more people than we ever could have anticipated to show up at this event, that's for sure. And it's fitting here that we're together on what is the 50th anniversary of our school's founding. Algonquin is a special place. What many people may not know is that Algonquin was one of the original pioneering middle schools in New York State. This rich history of focusing exclusively on middle-level education was a unique concept in 1967, but one that obviously has taken hold across the United States in the years since then. We here at AMS are proud of that legacy and are proud that so many people who have been connected to our school over the years could attend this afternoon, including our founding principal, Dr. Jack Fierro. And a popular principal too, I might. All right, so we're going to kick off our ceremony, our assembly here today. We're going to do that with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by our AMS Student Council officers, Isaac Joseph, Thomas Nero, and Alicia Trotter, and our national anthem performed by Julia Skiba, Avery Kittleson, Lauren Nolan, and Peyton Van Ant. Thank you. Please stand. Today, I am honored to present this flag that was flown over the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C. in honor of Algonquin's 50th anniversary, at the request of Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. On Thursday, in recognition of Veterans Day, our AMS Student Council officers will raise this flag as we remember all current and former military service members that protect our country. I now present this flag to our Student Council President, Isaac Joseph. Now we would like to recognize Prince William County Legislator Bob Loveridge who will share a few words.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I have a resolution commending the 50th anniversary. It's quite lengthy, as you can see, and I prepared a few words to say that kind of reduces the amount of discussion this afternoon. First of all, on behalf of the entire county legislature, I'm pleased to be here today to present this resolution commending Algonquin Middle School with its 50th anniversary, a very momentous occasion. The members of the county legislature have profound respect and admiration for this milestone in the distinguished history of this organization and serving its community. To effectively influence the social development and educational process of our youth is a responsibility that cannot be taken lightly, but yet is an essential and very, very important one in our society. With a history of 50 years, I'm confident that there are probably many people in this room today whose values and character have been influenced by this institution. Algonquin School is not just a building. It involves many people over the years, past and present, who have contributed to this community and to the operation here in the educational process. And they all should be applauded and recognized for what they have done to contribute. And I know that part of the ceremony is doing that. In closing, I just want to add that the Rensselaer County Legislature, Rensselaer County as a government entity, recognizes and accepts its role in providing whatever resources we have available to support the educational process. And we commend everyone who has been a part of Algonquin Middle School for making it what it is and contributing to this community, which makes this community a great place to live and work. I want to congratulate Algonquin Middle School and take the opportunity to thank everybody here for this opportunity to be here today, because it's a very moving one. Thank you very much.
At this time, we're going to have a performance by some members of our chorus. If you can't tell, chorus is pretty popular. So is band and orchestra. It's record numbers. Next, we're going to turn our attention to the back of the room where there's a computer projector screen, and we'll show a brief video clip of some staff recollections and memories of the past year.
One of my favorite memories, first of all, I loved being at Algonquin because it was such a happy place. I made my best friends here that I still see to this day. Once a month we get together, we celebrate each other's birthdays.
PE class back then was quite a bit different than it is now. You not only changed, you also wore uniforms that were not the most prettiest of uniforms. Boys and girls did not mix in gym class. You were always separated unless it was square dancing. And part of your grade was taking a shower. You had to take showers at Algonquin or you would fail gym class. And that was the hardest thing to get beyond at that time in middle school.
The gym show was an after school or evening activity that you could choose to do if you wanted to. You created routines either by yourself or with your friends as part of our gymnastics unit that we used to have here. And your parents came and watched you perform. And I wasn't good at any of it, but I did a traveling ring routine one year, and one year it was balance beam, and one year it was a floor exercise with a friend. And we just had a lot of fun.
One of my favorite memories, a lot of good memories at AMS. I think one of the favorite things I ever did here was a number of years in a row we did a fundraiser basketball games against the local radio station DJs, the 88.3, back when they played music that our kids here actually listened to. And Mr. A and I used to every year make videos to promote the games, and the first year was when the Sports Century documentaries were really big on ESPN, and we made kind of a real one about Mrs. Parada. Maybe it was still Mrs. Lolliger then, and because she was a legitimate athlete, and then we made a very kind of mockumentary about me and my sports career. And then for a couple of years in a row, we made rap videos to promote the game, and they were a lot of fun to do, and those events were really successful and a lot of fun.
Hard question to answer, but I think there were many people that made my experience at AMS pretty awesome. But when I think about all the people, I really think about two people in particular, and that would be Cindy Dowd and Deanna Smith. When I came to Algonquin my first year, Cindy Dowd had her .5 advisory time with me in the library. She spent a lot of time with me, bringing me up sort of in the Algonquin way, for a better lack of words. And we've become really good friends, like Deanna and myself. And I owe both of them so much in helping me really understand the library program and the curriculum, and working with different teachers and how things work here at Algonquin. I owe a lot of my success to both of them, and I'm grateful that they're both still in my life personally and professionally in ways.
And then my former colleague Nancy Richtel, who I worked with as a literacy teacher who has passed on, she really helped me look at kids in a whole child sort of way, and not just as a literacy teacher, but as a whole teacher. And she was always looking for the underdog, and how can she make every kid shine, and how she could help them do the best they could. And if they didn't have parents' support, how could she support them in school? And she ran a program called CARES, and last couple of years I feel in my classes that as a teacher I've tried to emulate how Nancy approached the kids, but also recently and this year in particular, I seem to have a CARES group after school with kids who are with me every day of the week. We have a snack, and then we work on homework, and it's not always literacy homework, it's other homework. But they know they have a place to come, and we hang out and we chat, and they get some work done. And I think that they feel we're a little community in that way, and Nancy was very instrumental in showing me that.
Yeah, I still feel her around, don't you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I guess my second person would have to be Mr. Messia. He is one of the most kind, compassionate, he's a fabulous principal. And just working with him as I'm winding down my career here at Algonquin has just puts the cherry on top of this fabulous experience of working here at Algonquin.
So Dr. Thero was principal when I was here, and he was awesome because he was always in the halls, always. And I remember he used to stand right outside the library where Mrs. Ekstrom stands. And the library is the same library that I used to use without the atrium. And as we would walk by him to class, he would greet us by our names, every kid. And we just thought that was amazing that he knew everybody's name. And he was always so friendly, and he was a big guy. He was really tall, and he could be intimidating, but he wasn't. He was just really a really nice guy.
Say that would be Dr. Thero, who was the principal then. At that time, I had a lot of anxieties about going to school, and he was the most kindest person to me. Put his arm around me, walked me to class, and it was a real inspiration for me.
That's awesome.
He made a big difference.
I just remember one thing that stands out to me though, like when I tell people about working here, is I remember when I first started. So I started in 2003, and I remember, that's like a whirlwind because you have all this stuff, superintendent's conference day, and all these new teacher orientations to go to, and then you finally get into your room and you're overwhelmed because you're trying to figure out how to set it up and everything else. And I just remember, I think I was trying to yell to Rob Messia because he was new also, and he was across the hall in 702. And I think I was yelling to him because he had just left my room, hey, can you help me for a second? 'Cause I just needed help like lifting something up and moving it or something like that. And like 5 people who were in the hallway all came in like intermittently after that. Were like, hey, I heard you yelling for help. Give me 1 minute. I got to run and then I'll come back, whatever you need. And like people I hadn't met yet, didn't know me, that worked here, that just heard somebody going, hey, can you help me? And all were willing to just, give me 1 minute or drop what they were doing. And that really kind of said something to me about the kind of place this was.
I remember walking in here as a student teacher and being amazed at how a middle school, what kind of atmosphere it had here. And walking out at the end of that experience, believing that I was going to get a job here. And I did, and that was 32 years ago. Algonquin's like a family. It has always been my extended family. I mentioned before about Mrs. Rogers being like a mom. I've had lots of brothers and sisters here at Algonquin, and over 3,000 kids. Sometimes when I see them out in the public in Walmart or Miller's or someplace, they come running over to say hi, and I really feel like they are my kids. It's been a super special experience here because we always talk about the Algonquin family, and it truly is a very large extended Algonquin family.
So Algonquin definitely made an impression on me, and it still does because I still love being here. I never left.
Today we're well represented by our superintendents. We actually have 3 superintendents. That was perfectly timed. But accidentally. Dr. Jim Hoffman is here today. He's our recently retired superintendent. Led us for the last 5 years. And now I'll introduce the man that I last called principal, which is Dr. Jim Franchini, our new superintendent and a former Algonquin principal himself, the 4th principal here. He will share a few remarks.
Good afternoon. I consider myself to be extremely fortunate to have spent 6 years at Algonquin Middle School as an assistant principal and principal. For me, it all started when I attended a conference for aspiring administrators. At that conference, I signed up for a mentor. And a few months later, Steve Beebe called me to tell me he had been assigned to be my mentor, and he invited me to spend a day shadowing him. After my day at AMS, I distinctly remember calling my wife on the way home to explain to her what I had just experienced. I remember saying that I did not know a school like this even existed. It simply just seemed too good to be true. After being hired by the district soon thereafter, it did not take long for my first impression to be proven true. I immediately realized how special Algonquin truly was. For example, the Algonquin family was there for me when our first child was born, as they threw an unbelievable baby shower for my wife and me just weeks after I started working here. That Algonquin family has been there for me countless times over the years. Professionally, I came to AMS with some knowledge of middle school education, and I left Algonquin feeling like a middle school expert because I learned so much from the faculty, staff, and administrators at Algonquin. It was during this time that I truly learned what it meant to be an educator, especially at the middle level. Upon returning to April Park this past July, I was so happy to see that AMS really still is as how I remember it, which is a community of outstanding educators who are focused on the development of the whole child and care for each other as a family. This building and the people who work here will always have a special place in my heart. So happy anniversary, Algonquin, and may the next 50 years be as wonderful as the first 50. And now I'd like to introduce our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Sharon Lawrence.
Thank you, and I get to deliver remarks for the third Algonquin principal, Steve Peavy, who is in absentia, and anybody who knows Steve, my friend Steve, these are the briefest remarks he has ever written. Merely 2 paragraphs, all true. He says, "Happy 50th birthday, Algonquin. Jody and I are very disappointed we couldn't be here for this celebration. I did not know the great impact Algonquin would have on me as both a person and a professional until I began working here in 1974. My 8th grade science colleague, Jim Gould, where is he? Became one of my closest friends, along with so many other teachers and staff, too many to list here. Also, as team leader, assistant principal, and principal, I was given the opportunity to work closely with all the members of the Algonquin community and to grow professionally. The love I have for this institution will go with me to my grave. Fortunately, I live close to Algonquin and therefore have been able to maintain contact with the Algonquin community. It is a testament to all of you to know that many of the beliefs started in 1967 by then Principal Dr. Thero and supported by his staff remain. Academic excellence, compassion, encouragement to explore, and understanding growth and development of early adolescence are some of the foundational beliefs necessary as we address the development of the whole child during these challenging years. May you all know the same sense of appreciation and fulfillment as I had while you remain members of one of the outstanding educational institutions in the Capital Region and beyond.
Our second principal, Mr. Mike Purdy, is not able to be here as well. He did send some remarks, and we're going to ask Ms. Maurizio to come up and read those for us.
So you just heard, unfortunately, Mr. Purdy could not be with us today, so I will be sharing his Algonquin remembrances. And I need my glasses. Sorry. Greetings, Algonquin, and congratulations on your 50th. What an awesome school Algonquin is and has been for its 50 years. The climate, culture, and middle school philosophy were established in the late 60s and have stood the test of time. The current mission statement, to empower students by cultivating creativity, instilling respect and responsibility, and fostering success and achievement through whole child and student-centered learning, could have been written in 1967. The many challenges include new standards, state testing, budget issues, staffing, technology, physical plant, etc., have always been attacked with the spirit of the aforementioned mission in mind. On a personal note, I cannot imagine having a better career of 33 years than spending it out on Algonquin. It afforded me many professional opportunities and challenges, as well as being a fun place to work. It is hard to believe that AMS will begin its second half century next year. If all the stakeholders live by Warrior Way, which is, I will make AMS a better place each day through my words and actions. I will never settle for anything less than my best, and I will respect myself and all members of the AMS community. Then Algonquin will maintain its great reputation and will have met the challenges that lie before it. I feel badly that I was not able to be at the celebration today. However, Susan and I will be on the beach in North Carolina with my son, his wife, and grandson Holden, enjoying 80-degree weather. Mike Purdy, 1968 through 2001.
We are almost done here today, folks, before we enjoy some cookies and festivities and conversation. But we would like to take a moment to, in a special way, recognize Dr. Thura, who is here today with us, who opened our school 50 years ago, and honor the fact that he led our school and our district with distinction for many of those years. To that end, we'd like to present this plaque. With my vote, Mr. Geller, thank you. To that end, we'd like to present this plaque, which will be installed in the main foyer of our school, honoring our founding principal, Dr. Thura, who laid the foundation for our school's mission and success. Thank you, Dr. Thura. Thank you to everyone who is here today. Our school, like legislator Bob Loveridge mentioned, is not a set of bricks. It really is the people of this community, of this school, the students, the teachers, the parents, the entire community that come together, that make a school like Algonquin can be real. Again, we'd like to thank you for being here today. And with that, we're going to end our assembly with a performance by our AMS chorus group, after which we hope you enjoy some refreshments in the back. Take a look at our yearbook display that's over here, our artwork display as well, the slideshows that are going in the back, and our time capsules. We have a 1996 time capsule which we opened up right over here to my right, and then we also have our 2017 time capsule which we will seal up at the conclusion of the event. So please take a look at those displays too. So once again, our chorus group for their final performance. Thank you for being here. Thank you again for joining us today. Feel free to enjoy the reception in the back.